What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel. Who will join? I said who will join. Who will John Cena's last opponent be for his last match? Now, this is a video that I really don't have a 100% good answer on. Like, I feel like a lot of videos, I have a pretty decent prediction. This one, they have barely given any hints, truthfully. Cody Rhodes seems like it was going to be him. Doesn't make a lot of sense now. Don't think it will be him. I think they're on two different paths now. So who will it be? Today we're here to talk about it. There's three that at the beginning that's just hypothetical, crazy ones that I don't see happening. There's a couple that make sense. And then we're going from least likely to most likely, truthfully. So starting off with the most least likely is Kurt Angle. Did I really just say Kurt Angle in the Big 2-5? Yes, I did. Kurt Angle, I feel like, will not ever wrestle again. And I don't expect him to, truthfully. But here's the thing. It would be kind of poetic. And I know it's medically, he probably can't wrestle. But it'd be so poetic if Kurt Angle would go from getting John Cena to be a part of WWE to retiring him. Would be so poetic. So poetic. But at the same time, is it poetic for him to retire John Cena or to have his final match with John Cena? Or is it more poetic that it would be John Cena retiring Kurt Angle? I feel like that's the other way it should have been around. Anyways, I still feel like throw out there to mention in case. Just in case. Don't expect it though. Another one just in case is Edge. Obviously, Edge is with AEW. Not a part of WWE. Could there be a thing for WWE and AEW to have some agreement that lets Edge be a part of WWE in some sense or form so that they can do one final match? Because let's be honest here, Edge is a insane and amazing rival to John Cena. It would make sense for it to happen. Would that ever happen? Probably not. I think Edge is too much declining against WWE personnel. And I think the logistics with it, with thinking about how it would work, would just be too complicated. I think AEW would get really mad if Edge lost. I think WWE would get mad if an AEW star won. So much things to talk about and so much things to throw out there. But I don't think it'll happen. Want to do it though. I really do, but it won't happen. Next is The Rock. This is one that I think out of all the options is the biggest dark horse because The Rock has been training for matches supposedly, and it's not going to happen, I think, with WrestleMania 41 obviously, but it could happen at WrestleMania 42. Still don't think it'll happen. Is there a chance that the reason why we haven't heard anything or suspect anything or anything like that with WWE and the final opponent is because ultimately The Rock is the person that could be it for John Cena? Just a suggestion, just to throw it out there. I really do believe, though, that The Rock and John Cena, it makes too much sense for it to be a final match for John Cena because I think it's poetic. It goes back and from back in the day. But at the same time, and I think obviously if it's on a Saturday night's main event, you know how many people would pay money to see The Rock and John Cena one final time, like actually one final time for real? It feels like it would make sense, but I just don't see it happening. I don't, which it kind of sucks saying that, but it's the truth about it. I just don't see it happening. But it really could. It really could. I could also see him just saving this. I've seen theories of them saying like, you know, I'm going to fight you at this Saudi main event in 2 years. So you have 2 years to know it. Doesn't make sense. Up next is Brock Lesnar. He was way higher on this list. I think he was third on this list until, you know, we start realizing it's probably because it's going to be those two for the September 20th match. PLE makes too much sense to do that. I don't think this should be the final opponent for John Cena. I don't think this should be the final guy for John Cena, even though they've had hell of a career. Don't want it to be that. I think I'd rather have it being Brock Lesnar or go against somebody else maybe on that PLE, and Brock Lesnar go against somebody else maybe in the Mania, and then you have John Cena and Brock Lesnar fight this September 20th, and John Cena fights somebody else. But Still have to mention just in case if something would change with that or something else would happen. Up next is Randy Orton. He was lower on this list, honestly. Or no, he was higher on this list. I think he was 4th. Then I moved 2 people up a lot. I think they've already had the Randy Orton John Cena match now. Even though I think Randy Orton is the guy to go against John Cena when it comes to retirement and their whole thing they had against each other. In my opinion, call me crazy, but I think that Backlash match is actually their last match. And I think because they advertised it as one last time, I think they're actually going to stick on it. Even though in the past they haven't stick on that advertisement, I think they are, because it just makes a lot of sense that it would be Randy Orton versus John Cena later on in the future, truthfully, because I just have to say, man, like, having that thing in Backlash, it just needs to happen in an actual real time, truthfully. Up next is Seth Rollins versus Randy, or not Seth. Up next we have Seth Rollins. Now I do believe Seth Rollins makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of shocked he hasn't had a John Cena match yet, to be honest with you, because you have the whole thing with the US title, WWE title, him being one of the main guys that have gone against John Cena in the past. In my opinion, he's one of the guys that I believe should have a match against Seth, or should have a match against Cena, and Cena has even said that Seth Rollins is one of the guys that he absolutely loves to go against. I think he really could be the one to retire him if they're not having this match. If they're not having the match for them to go against each other. Maybe it's at Crown Jewel. Maybe if they're not doing the Crown Jewel Championship, maybe that's the reason. I really do believe it's most likely could be Seth Rollins with his new faction being the heel. Retiring Cena would get a little bit more heat on him as well. And I do believe would look really good for Seth Rollins. I think you don't have to give a new guy the win. I think it could help, but I don't think you have to. I really like it being a Seth Rollins being the type to do it, with how over Seth Rollins is with the fans already and how big of a heel he is right now. It would make sense for a babyface Cena to go against him. Up next is Drew McIntyre. Out of all the vets, I see Drew being the one. He's talked about Cena. He's gone through with Cena. He's always said he wants that match against Cena. He wants a match against Cena, whatever it might be. Drew McIntyre, I could see them giving him this ultimate win over Cena, creating a heel dynamic with Drew McIntyre for the future, and ultimately Drew will be the heel to beat Cena, and then he's the top heel they could do for the company to go against a Cody Rhodes. I feel like there's 2 people that if they beat Cena as a heel, it gives them enough momentum to become something for the future, which is go against Cody Rhodes. Now, for now, I think Drew could be that. I think it could be somebody else. Talking about Braun Breaker. Now, I think Braun Breaker, sorry, that's not the heel I was talking about, but Braun Breaker to me is the young guy. If you want the young guy to win, this is the guy to choose, because he's obviously the face of the company for the future. I think if Braun Breaker wins, I'd wonder how it would happen. Would it be, an open challenge and Braun Breaker comes out? Would it be something else? I just think ultimately Braun Breaker being a John Cena would do really good for Braun Breaker's career. I just don't know how we get there, and I don't know how it would work with a Seth Rollins group, with everything right like that. I think ultimately Braun Breaker being the one to retire Cena makes sense, but then what happens after that? Does he go after Cody Rhodes? Does he go after Seth Rollins? Is it something else? I don't know. And I think a tag team thing could happen with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker here coming up soon. So it's hard for me to see this one, but if it's the young guy, which I would think Cena would want, Braun Breaker, but supposedly WWE is going to choose it, and I think WWE will choose Gunther. This is the guy that I could see. If he retires Cena, Gunther will probably be my pick to win the Royal Rumble, because I think you build him as the top heel, he retires Cena, he then goes against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed title, and you have that Gunther-Cody rematch with Gunther being the top heel and winning the Undisputed Championship. It just makes too much sense. Am I wrong for thinking this? Like, it just makes too much sense. I believe that's the case or that's the place where they're going. I could 100% see them deciding not to do that. I could see them doing retire Cena, then going Brock Lesnar to retire next, and then maybe Gunther's gimmick is destroying people's careers. But I think the rumor has it that it's going to be Gunther. I think this is who they want Gunther and John Cena to have a match, or John Cena to have a match against. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.